This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and I am live in Santa Clara, well, actually San Francisco right now. Very excited to bring the latest and greatest news surrounding the Seattle Seahawks. What was the talk of the day in Tuesday of Super Bowl 60 week? And I think it's pretty important to dive right into it because no one can really keep this man's name out of their mouth, and that, of course, is Klint Kubiak. Will he stay? Will he go? It does seem like all signs are pointing to Kubiak moving on from being the offensive coordinator in Seattle and ending up being the head coach with the Las Vegas Raiders. So we're going to dive into some of the words and some of the nice things that the players had to say about him. Of course, we're going to talk about some potential Kubiak replacements. And then because I like to end the show on a high note, we, of course, are going to get into some very nice things that two top players on the defensive side of the football had to say about the Seattle Seahawks fans and the 12s. When it comes to Klint Kubiak, there are some clear supporters that are still in the building in Seattle. This is not a situation where Kubiak is leaving and he's going completely scorched earth and everyone is upset with where he is at or where he could be moving on to. Obviously, head coach Mike Macdonald, he spoke today at his press conference, and he seemed to be very enthusiastic about everything that was going the way that they wanted it to for Klint Kubiak. We'll get into some players' comments here in just a moment, but I want to preface this Mike Macdonald quote by saying this shows what type of head coach and leader that the Seahawks have, because it would be easy for Macdonald to say, I'm not going to say some nice things about Kubiak. He's leaving us at the last moment, and that's not exactly what is happening. What's happening is the opposite. Macdonald is saying nice things, and he's propping up Kubiak because he deserves to be propped up.
Well, there's a benefit of us kind of being out in front of it. So, and I haven't really had an opportunity to cast a wide net and talk to a lot of people. There's a lot of great coaches that were available last year. So, in a classic Mike fashion, took my time, probably overthought it a bit, talked to a lot of great people. I think as the process really unwound, it became very clear that, and Klint was the first person we talked to, that not only was he going to bring a great staff. It was a great plan. I think our visions were aligned on what we were trying to create, and just became very clear that he's going to be a great partner to work with. So excited for him. He's done a great job. It's been a lot of fun to work with him, and we got one more game to go.
Clearly, Macdonald loves Kubiak, and clearly he understands the nature of this business, right? And so instead of Macdonald taking a shot at his probably going to be former offensive coordinator, he's out here propping him up. He's praising him. He's letting Las Vegas Raiders fans potentially know what they could get in their next head coach. I love this from Macdonald because it's going to bring in other top position coaches who want to come in and be offensive coordinators or who want to be defensive coordinators in Seattle. They will see that the head guy, the guy who's running the entire show, is still going to make sure that he hypes them up and gives them the praise that they deserve, and it helps move them into the next position, which will eventually be a head coach. I love that from Macdonald, but it also shows that Kubiak has clearly earned the respect that Macdonald is giving him, because Macdonald's not a guy that just gives respect because he wants to. We're going to dive into what some of the players had to say in just a minute about Kubiak. Zabel had a fantastic piece, as well as A.J. Barner. But before we get into that, I need to let you know about the Mob Mentality shirts that we've got rocking on the website right now, chatsports.com/mob shirt. When you look at it, we've got a black, we've got a navy, we got the head honcho right in the middle, 4 stars on the edges. This thing is sweet. I'm starting to get posts online right now from people who are very happy with their new purchases. I love it. If you get a Mob Mentality shirt, make sure that you tag me in it on social media when you post it, so that way I can repost you in whatever way that we possibly can. Of course, that is going to be in the comment section and description of today's video. So if you want to click that link, go get yourself one. You can do so. Clearly, the players have a ton of love for Kubiak. Zabel, who I mentioned earlier, goes into a long diatribe about thinking that he was working hard, but learning what hard work actually meant from Kubiak. He also talks about the work ethic, of course, that was employed by Kubiak, and I think that sets the tone for what this offense is. And if you have a coach that's willing to dive in and shows up day after day after day, first one in the building, last one to leave, it makes it a lot easier for the players to buy in and say, yep, I agree with that. I am going to follow in my leader's footsteps. When you have a guy who does the things that he preaches, it just makes it that much easier to follow along. Here's what Zabel had to say on the work ethic and a nice little anecdote about Kubiak.
Yeah, I think Klint does an unbelievable job in that. As one, he's a guy that takes a lot of ownership of the offense, even when he doesn't have to. So that's super neat to have as an offense coordinator. But he's another guy that just shows up every single day and just works and works and works. And I think whatever the future holds for him, he's a guy that is going to outwork everybody, and it's been super cool to see that as a rookie and kind of how it is to be a vet and how it is to be in the NFL. So he's definitely taught me a lot of lessons this first year. There's a span where I was coming in early for treatment, or what I thought was early at the time, and his car was already parked there before I even got there. It's every single day it's like that, and I think it's a show up before everybody and leave after everybody mentality, and I think that's what he's really good at, and he's going to continue to have success because of the work ethic that he has.
My favorite part about the Zabel clip is you can clearly tell that he thinks he's like, yes, I'm killing it. I'm getting in early. I'm in before 6 a.m. Oh, there's my offensive coordinator. He already beat me there. I just thought it was a great clip from him, and I'm glad that Zabel was able to give that type of quote to me. Next, we're going to look at what A.J. Barner had to say. Barner, clearly someone who came into Seattle and I believe has exceeded expectations since Seattle got him as a rookie. Of course, Barner was supposed to be a great blocker, but he's really turned into a key red zone threat, and he's been able to really expand upon that in this Kubiak system. Here's what Barner had to say on his offensive coordinator.
I would say, he was with the Saints the year prior, so we watched some Saints tape. But I think the good thing about Coach Coop's system is that it dates back with his dad and all the things. So you're able to watch tape from when they were at the Texans in the early 2000s. So I think that was beneficial as a player to just see multiple years of different guys executing the scheme. Yeah, Owen Daniels, tight end, some of the Denver Broncos tape. Was definitely able to go into the archives.
If this is officially it, you can tell that Seattle is going to miss their current offensive coordinator, because if Kubiak does end up going to the Las Vegas Raiders, which all signs seem to point that way, you are clearly going to lose someone who is well respected in the building, who is a gifted play caller and a gifted play designer. Now, it's important to note that there are multiple options that are still left on the staff that could easily be promoted and take over that OC role from Kubiak. But I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted a lot of the kind words and big things that players and coaches were saying about Klint Kubiak, because he does deserve our respect and our admiration. I will also say this. Just win one more for me, and it'll all be forgiven. I promise, just win one more game. Just win on Sunday in San Francisco. We're in a sub battle right now with Patriots Today, and producer Sam Brown is making fun of me. He continues to call me second place Ortner right now, just ripping on me and the Seahawks Today faithful, because we are losing the sub battle to Patriots Today. We can't let Brett Alper, the host of Patriots Today, win. So come on in, hit that sub button. We have you covered with all sorts of content throughout this week. We are live in San Francisco. We're going to have great content that you don't want to miss out on. I mentioned that there were some potential Kubiak replacements that were already on the staff here in Seattle. And to me, two names really stick out, and I think that they would be great additions for the Seahawks to promote from within, because otherwise I think there's a decent chance that they end up in Las Vegas with Kubiak if he so chooses to leave that way. Of course, I'm looking at passing game coordinator Jake Peetz and running game coordinator Justin Otten. Now, when I'm talking about these two internal candidates, they are two guys who have already gotten the respect from different players on the staff. They are well respected throughout the National Football League, and most importantly, they have respect from the head guy in Seattle. I think that you can't go wrong promoting either one of these two coaches from within to become the next top guy. Why? Because the passing game has been absolutely fantastic this year. Jake Peetz is clearly a guy who is a hot commodity. He is someone who already was getting offensive coordinator interview spots, and he hasn't even really taken up that role yet. He would easily be able to come in and just continue the success that they've seen in Seattle. When I look at Justin Ott, it's the same type of deal, but understand he really took a larger role when it came to this run game in the second half of the season. What are you starting to see the Seahawks be able to do in the second half of the season? Well, guess what? They're running the football a whole lot more effectively. So you're going to see two guys who have had clear success this year that are clearly on the trajectory to be an offensive coordinator, potentially be a head coach later down the line. You can promote them, two guys who are already within your system, who already know how Mike Macdonald wants to run everything, who already knows the verbiage and the language. They're going to stay with the Kubiak type of system. It seems like it's an easy just promote from within type of situation. Plus, you keep someone that the players already respect in the building. Let me know if you had to pick one of these coaches to become the next offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. Type down in the comment section. If you believe it should be Jake Peetz, type JP. If you think it should be Justin Otten, type JO. Let me know down below in the comment section. I always want to hear your opinion because I think, well, the Seahawks fans are some of the smartest in the game, and I clearly like to listen to what y'all have to say. Next, I want to talk about the love and admiration that is clear a lot of Seahawks players have for the city and for the 12s. It seemed like the perfect way to end our Tuesday video with just a little bit of love, not just from the players to us, the fans, but from the fans to the players as well. Ernest Jones had a fantastic quote here where he talks about why he loves playing in Seattle.
I think the love that they show, I mean, you know, I was in LA for 3 years and so big in LA. I wasn't that big of a superstar either, but to be in Seattle and to also still not be that big of a superstar and everybody knows who you are is kind of insane. Like, you go to the grocery store, I used to could go any type of way, and now I can't do that. So it's just the way those fans show love that's so special about Seattle.
First of all, I'd say this about Ernest Jones. He is a star in the National Football League, but it is nice to know that we have a humble king leading this Seahawks defense. What I will say is it's clear that Jones loves being in Seattle, and I want him to be a Seahawk for life. Will that be possible? I don't know. But it's clear that when you have a player like Ernest Jones, who went through such a difficult time in his personal life, to come back and say, man, I love Seattle, I love the town, they helped be part of the reason that I was able to get through that, it just means the world to me, but it also means the world, I believe, to the fans, because it shows that we truly care about the players that are on the field for us. Devin Witherspoon, another star on this defense. Well, he talked about loving the area of Seattle, and he gave the 12s a little bit of love too.
You know, the environment, literally, though, you know, it's a great environment up there, even though it rains a lot. I mean, you get to see a little bit of everything, especially the trees, the mountains. I mean, everything about Seattle.
What was it like going through San Francisco in the first divisional round playoff game and really getting to see how the 12s get down in the playoffs?
I mean, it was a great experience, you know, playing against a divisional rival again. And we had a chance to play them there and at home. But the atmosphere at home was different, right? I never experienced nothing like that in my life. So.
And they're not the only guys on this Seahawks team that clearly love the city of Seattle and clearly love the fan base that they play for. But this is why this team is so special. This is why this team gets the type of love that they get from us, but also why they play for each other. They understand that it's bigger than them. They're not only playing for each other on the field, but they also are playing for the city. They are playing for the Pacific Northwest because we love and care about this Seahawks team. Not enough people give Seahawks fans enough credit for the support and admiration that they give to this team. And right now, to be able to hear both Ernest Jones and Devin Witherspoon say, we love the city and here's why, it just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Make sure that you hit that sub button. We are going to be here in San Francisco, Santa Clara, and San Jose Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And, of course, we'll have you covered for our watch party on Sunday. So make sure that you hit that sub button. We've got you covered on anything going on for the Seattle Seahawks all week long. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video, and I'll catch you guys next time.